was going on with that audio? Okay, that was Stormcam. And I'm getting some echo from Stormcam. So I'm thinking we're going to remove Stormcam because it's not really storming that much anymore. Welcome to the show, folks. We'll get rid of Stormcam. That was worth a try. You can hear the storm, though, just through my microphone. 1 hour drive tonight on the 401 getting home. Normally I'm on the 401 for 5 to 10 minutes tops. And I don't know why. It was, I never saw an accident. Nothing. So I have no fucking idea what the hell was going on the 401. Now it's storming, so we're just hoping the electricity stays on. I'm also going to show off my new shirt. Team Steven. You guys know Jeff Steven, our resident graph artist here on the LeBrain train. Well, his wife is running for MPP in those ridings right down there. And I asked him, hey, could I have a Team Steven shirt and wear it on the show? And he said, absolutely. And I offered to pay for the shirt. He just sent it to me, which was so kind. And I just, you know, anybody who knows Jeff Steven knows what an awesome guy he is. They're solid people. And I just really like them. So I wish Wendy all the best in her. The election is next Thursday. So 6 days to go. I know they've been working hard. And at the very beginning of this pandemic, they were doing something as a family. They were putting out really cool, really entertaining and unique videos to cheer healthcare workers very early in the pandemic. And thank you. Thank you so much. I've been told this before. I used to wear orange a lot. I had this orange vest that I just loved. And this is a running joke between Chris Sarr and I. He was up. I think he's a little upset at me that I said whoop-de-doo to him earlier today when he told me that River Road is finally reopened 6 days after the storm. 6 days after the storm. River Road's not a small road. Anyway. One of my guests tonight, I believe he had no power for 24 to 48 hours, something like that. Anyway, welcome to the LeBrain Train, folks. We'll be going with our Tenacious D, Nigel Tufnel top 10 list tonight with Mr. Canadian Grooves, Buried on Mars, and Mr. Uncle Meat. And you know what? If he is good to go, I'm just going to, if you just give me a thumbs up, I'll bring Buried on Mars on because this is the tech portion of the show. Hello, Kevin. You're muted, I think.
Hello, testing.
You're quiet, but
Hello.
I can hear you.
Can
There
you
we
hear me
go.
now? Yeah,
I sure can. Yes.
this mic it doesn't work unless you turn it on. One flaw.
That's an odd feature.
Yep. So,
welcome to the show.
No, thank you. Don't ask me any tech questions. I don't know.
Well, no, this is just not really a tech question, just more the tech chat portion of the show. I had to buy a new cell phone this week because my old one, I dropped it, and it was finally the drop that cracked the screen, which is incredible after hundreds of drops. So it is actually acting as Stormcam right now. It still works as a camera just fine. Why not? Mm-hmm. So I bought this, which is basically the same phone. Oh yeah, I like that screensaver there.
Okay.
But I bought this. That's the latest, the Samsung S22.
Okay.
And it's basically exactly the same as the old phone. Bigger, you know, probably a lot faster, that kind of thing. But it's basically the same. So it took me, you know, a couple of hours to get everything back the way I wanted it. But here's what's surprising to me is that these things, they don't take micro SD cards anymore for storage.
No, they haven't for a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my phone is an S7, which I believe came out in 2016 or 2017. So I'm kind of out of the whole.
That's what I just dropped. That's what I just broke.
Oh, okay. I haven't been looking at cell phones in forever, and it's funny because I actually went. I think it was a thing on YouTube or something because I was looking up something about my phone, and of course Google like monitors everything, and it recommended this video on the S7, and it was all about how living with an S7 in 2022 and how it's not a good idea to buy one. It's way past its prime. You wouldn't be happy with it if you bought one today. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still using mine. It's working just fine.
This phone's virtual like that. I think everything works exactly the same. But I needed to do it for 3 reasons. The crack being the third of these reasons. But the first being, just last week, I have an app that connects to my car. Start the car, lock the car. I like the lock the car feature. If I ever think in my head, oh shit, did I lock it? Anyway, that all of a sudden became unsupported last week. So that kind of ticked me off. And I'm like, well, maybe this is a sign. But also the battery. The battery is just, I got to keep it plugged in basically all day.
Yeah, that was one of the complaints too. But I don't know. Maybe I got a good one because I don't have any problems with my battery. I use it heavy use all day, and I have to plug it in once in a while, but it's not any different from when I first bought it. I don't feel like, maybe it's a little bit less, but
you've never replaced your battery?
Nope. No. Now, and that was the other thing. Like back in the day, they used to make them so easy to replace your battery on the Samsung phones. You just take one out and put a new one in. But
I used to have a BlackBerry before I had the S7. I had a BlackBerry, and they made everything so easy on that thing. It had a back. You just peeled the back off, and you could access the battery, the SIM card, the SD card, all in one shot.
Yeah, that's how they used to make them. But then now everything's planned obsolescence, right? So
and unmodifiable.
Yep. They don't want you touching anything.
I would buy a nice big micro SD card and throw that in there, but not an option.
Yeah, I am lucky. Like my phone, because Sarah's got the S8, which is the one like the next year model, and hers doesn't. I think hers has the SD card, but you can't. She's got like some feature on it where it wants to take over your phone and make it more accessible. I can't remember what it's called. But I don't have any of that. And I got the button. I still have the button on the phone. They don't put buttons on phones anymore.
Yeah. Well, this thing has still the same 3 buttons, but, you're lucky to have any. All right. Well, I see that the Meat Man is in the waiting room. So why don't we run the theme song and get the show on the road? It is Friday, May 27th. God, it's the last Friday in this month. Next time we go live, it'll be June. Can't believe it. Welcome to the show, folks.
Ticket to anywhere and a glazed donut to go. The brain train. The brain train. All aboard.
Hello, sir.
Love your shirt.
And Rush.
Absolutely awesome.
Nice.
How are you doing tonight? Did you just did the storm just pass over you?
Yeah, there was some stuff. It wasn't too crazy. I mean, after seeing that storm, whenever it was 6 days ago, this is child's play. Yeah,
Kevin, you had no power for 2 days.
I heard about that. Yeah,
26 hours. That's nothing. Right. One of my coworkers is still without power. He lives he lives in the Peterborough area, and they got hit pretty hard too.
That's not small town. That's GTA still.
Well, he's on the outskirts. He's on one of the smaller towns on the outskirts. But he hasn't had power since what was that, last Saturday?
Saturday afternoon at about 12:20 it hit here.
And he's not on town water, so like he relies on electricity for toilet flushing and hot water and showers, and his parents live like 30 minutes away, so they've been going over there to do everything. They have power, but man, he just moved into that house too not too long ago.
Shitty luck.
crazy.
Yeah. And a tree fell on his car and everything. So 26 hours without power, no problem. I could take it.
Jen and I, we were starting to get antsy. Oh, there's my good buddy Ralph. We got to have Ralph on very soon to do that 1986. No, this is Tenacious D tonight, but we're going to do the 1986 show very soon. I just got to arrange it. Anyway, I was going to say, Jen and I started getting anxious like 3 or 4 in the afternoon last Saturday after only, being out of power for 3 or 4 hours. I was getting bored, and I kept checking the hydro map on my laptop, which had about 70% charge. And I saw my parents' neighborhood had power. So I went over to their house, and we hung out there for the evening, checked the hydro map periodically. And when I saw that our house had power again, then we headed home. But we were only out for 7 hours, and I felt like, whoa, what a tragedy. And then I'm seeing, like you said, people who haven't had it for days. And God. Mm-hmm. Anyway, enough about current events.
By the way, I just want to say we put in our orders for T-shirts. Well, I did the legwork. These? I told Sarah to tell Jeff Steven that we want T-shirts too.
Oh, nice. I hope I didn't get the last one. Hey, meat. Anyway, enough about current events. Let's talk about current events. We wanted to do something very different this time to start the show. I'm already wearing an NDP T-shirt, so we may as well go political a little bit. But EO has rocked. It might come up, Ralph. It might come up. Anyway, we wanted to talk a little bit about current events. I know the Meat Man was feeling a little weird about going live tonight, not talking about current events. Did you want to start, or should I?
I'd like to go last.
Okay. Well, we are obviously talking about the tragedy in Texas, and we're talking about the gun issue. And I know Kevin and I are pretty much in line on that issue. I think we pretty much have the same view. I say this as somebody who grew up around guns. My dad always had guns in the house. He had 2 to 3 rifles when I was a child. They were locked up in a gun rack, and the ammunition was kept in a locked drawer in his bedroom. And I was never like 100% sure where he kept the ammunition. He was very careful about things. He was smart, keeping the gun and the ammunition in separate rooms, keeping them both locked. And he taught me gun safety from a very young age. I had a pellet gun when I was, 10. I still have the same pellet gun. And, that's just the environment I was raised on. But, for us, it was for fun. It wasn't because my dad thought there was like a home invasion about to happen. It was because we wanted to, in our very isolated cottage setting, fire off some rounds and see if I could hit a tin can at X amount of feet. And my dad used to call me Dead-Eye Dick because I had a really good aim. And at one point, my dad bought an antique Martini Henry rifle. This goes back to the 1880s. And this rifle saw action most likely in the Zulu Wars. And my dad bought this rifle and he locked it up. And I remember one weekend at the cottage, we were shooting it off over the lake. And I remember the recoil like almost dislocated my mom's arm. Ooh. So like I wasn't even allowed to play with. Play with is the wrong term. I wasn't even allowed to handle this gun really. But we just always had a respect for the weapons in the house. And when I see what is going on today compared to the innocence of childhood that I grew up in. It's insane. Like, I don't understand the unwillingness to trade some gun rights for some children's lives. I don't understand. Like, when am I ever going to need an AR-15? When am I ever going to need any of that stuff? We had so much fun with our rifles and a soup can on the frozen ice in the middle of the winter at the cottage, because that was when nobody was around. Things have changed, actually. There's too many people there that live 12 months a year. We can't actually fire the weapons anymore. But back in the 80s, there's nobody there in the winter. You'd put the tin can way out on the ice, and you'd take a careful aim. Dad would teach me how to eject the shell. You know, and I feel like everything about that childhood has been destroyed by whack jobs. You know? And that's all I'm going to say.
Cool.
Why did he have a gun? Because he worked at a bank. Like, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. Nobody wants to take away all the guns. Nobody wants to take away all the guns.
Yeah. And the part that I don't understand is it's like children, you know, like imagine your dad comes into a room and says, you say, Dad, can I watch TV? And your dad says, yeah, you can watch TV for a half an hour. And then you got to go do something else. And then your dad leaves and then he comes back 2 hours later and you're still watching TV. And your dad says, why are you watching TV? And he said, well, you said I could watch TV, but you're leaving off the half hour part. And that's exactly what they do with their piece of paper that was written 250 years ago now, where it says you have the right to bear arms within a well-regulated militia.
So here's my musket. I'm just going to start loading it as you talk here and show you how long it takes to do this. You know? Okay, you do that for a while. You know? But
really, it's capitalism run amok. I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm for capitalism.
Hell, we all live in a capitalistic society. We all
but capitalism should be for me. I think it's something that should be for like the phones we were talking about, or computers, or you know, those kind of commodities, not guns. And guns are a big business, and the big business. I mean, tonight, as we're talking tonight, the governor of that state and the senator from that state are at an NRA rally to promote guns. It makes zero sense. No sense. I give
credit
whatsoever
to all those guys who did drop out, though. There's a number of them that did.
Yeah, but I mean, it should be like they all ask.
It should have been
like,
canceled and moved.
The question's always like, why does this only happen in the United States? Why do other countries have guns and it's only happens? Well, one, it's part of their culture. Two, no other country has the NRA.
Oh, that might be a hot update right there.
He's not going. Wow.
Apparently not.
No, see, and that's the other thing too. So many of these.
Well, that's political pressure again coming up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all you got to do is just threaten their job, and they will flip flop. Like that money from the NRA won't seem as good if they feel as if they will lose their job, and it takes the will of the people. But the problem with these shootings, besides it's the problem with I'm not getting, it's that it only lasts a news cycle and then we move on to something else. Like the reason why
we've already forgotten about whatever it was last week.
Right. Like and I think the reason why like this one kind of hit a little more home is because of the children, but it kind of lasted 2 news cycles because you had the one in Buffalo and then you have this one back to back. And I mean, really, I think that's what it's going to take. I mean, after Sandy Hook, if nothing came about it, like they did absolutely nothing after Sandy Hook, and so there doesn't seem to be a threshold where these Republican lawmakers are going to be willing to do anything until it gets to the point where it's just constantly in the news cycle. It just keeps constantly happening again and again and again. Like it's so funny. Like I watched so many things about about history and stuff, and like there'd be like a fire in a circus, right? And 2,000 people would die in this fire. Like people just went to the circus. This was like in the 1940s, right? They go to the circus. They used to put like this oil substance on the roof. Like all the tents were made out of canvas, and they would actually use like oil
To
on the
waterproof
canvas
it.
to keep the water off of it, right? To waterproof it. And it's a flammable substance, so it explodes, right? 2,000 people die. There's an investigation the next day. What can we do to fix this? And they come back and they say, okay, you got to have so many exits. You can't be using this stuff on the tents. You got to have fire. And it costs the people who do make circuses, it costs them money to do it. But there was all of a sudden, if you wanted to have a circus, there was a bunch of red tape you had to go through. But that was to keep people safe. Like red tape is like a bad word now. Red tape is something like you hear that and like, oh, too much red tape. It's bad. But those are laws that are there for a reason to protect you, to make sure that if the place catches on fire, you got an exit to go to. And it just seems like as if things would happen and there would be stuff that you would do to fix it. Now, I don't understand why I do understand why this one is different, but it's just a crying shame that it is, that they do absolutely nothing to fix the problem.
I just want to address a couple of comments real quick.
Okay.
This is I didn't know that. I didn't know that. This is true. It's called an FAC, or at least it used to be. I had an FAC back when I was in my 20s. You didn't need to take a course back when I first got it, which was the year, I believe, 1991. I just had to apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He's right. It is a nuanced issue. I actually agree with everything he says. That's irony as well. They're saying it's because the former president will be there. And unfortunately, as I get older, I find myself more pessimistic as a person. And I actually agree with him here too. Nothing will be done. Sorry. Go ahead, Meat.
Okay. I do have a bit of a prepared rant that some of the points have been already made, but I'm going to say them anyway. But first, before, I just wanted to something that I realized 10 minutes before we went on. It's kind of ironic when I think about it. I recently watched the Judd Apatow directed George Carlin documentary, and there's a joke in there that was probably pre-2000, so we're talking 25 years old, where he's saying, so now they want to ban toy guns, but keep the fucking real ones. And that was almost 30 years ago, and that was funny then, and now it's just sad because it's so true. Like, it's so ridiculous. But anyway, so I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit from ironically enough, a sports show that I watch, and a very passionate guy named Chris Russo, who went off, and it just spoke to me. So basically, it's like this: the guy at the shooter was 18 years old. On his birthday, he buys unlimited ammo and guns. He's not allowed to drink. What? That's just completely ridiculous. And like said before, kind of like the gun people, they constantly give that the reason is mental illness. But like Kevin said, you don't see these in all these other countries, and like this. And what? There's not people that had mental issues in Brazil and Spain and Australia and wherever. Like, give me a break. That's just completely asinine. And it's all about the NRA, and it's disgusting. All the Republicans care about, in general, are the votes. They don't care about people. The whole Second Amendment thing, like 250 years ago, is just it's just a fallback thing that doesn't make any sense. Ted Cruz and Abbott and all those guys, they voted no to a gun control thing in March. Hello, something could have been stopped, and Sandy Hook was 9 years ago, and there's no change, whatever. And the only way that this is going to change, seemingly, is if somehow a Republican gets in office that believes in gun control, because Republicans won't listen to a Democrat guy just because he's Democrat. So it's like it's never
Oh.
going to change. And
I don't
just
think
to
they'll
end-
listen to another. I don't think they would listen to another Republican because
but it's the only
Mitt Romney.
possibility.
Mitt Romney couldn't even get across that the election wasn't rigged.
Well, he's one of
Yeah,
those
but he didn't get
Republican and name only guys, right?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
a
but he
rhino.
didn't get in, is what I mean. Like, if they have to listen to the Republican, they might change some of their stupidity. But the last point, and this is just, it just blows my mind. In the U.S., in 2002 or in 2022, there have been 212 mass shootings, including 27 school shootings. It's not even fucking June. I'm done.
You know, I keep seeing suggestions that teachers should be armed.
My God.
You and
They were armed there. It didn't matter.
Yeah, there was a guy at
They were armed. They were armed right behind the shooter for an hour and wouldn't even do anything to the door. What difference did it make?
There was
Eric,
a guy
you
in Buffalo that did shoot at the shooter, but the shooter was wearing a Kevlar vest, and the bullet did nothing.
People think they're G.I. Joe. People think that they're. I actually saw a comment. Why didn't the cops just take a headshot or something like that? Like, it's not Hollywood. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
you can't just fucking go in there guns a-blazing like you're a superhero. People watch too much TV. But what I was going to say, Eric, is you and I both know lots of teachers. Between the two of us, we both know lots and lots of teachers. How many of those can you picture with a holster?
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
well, it's not
like that's not what they went to school for. That's not what they're passionate about. That's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to be G.I. Joe. They're trying to teach music or history.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
just want to make one more point.
Let's,
about the mental illness thing. Sure, okay, yeah, fine. The kid had mental illness problems or whatever. Like, anyone who goes through this has to have something going wrong with them. But why make it so easy for them to get the gun? Why not put 12 steps before he's able to get a gun? Why make it so an 18-year-old can just go to a big box store and grab a gun off a shelf and buy one? It doesn't make any sense. 0 sense whatsoever. Maybe if he had those 12 extra steps to go through, maybe then by the time he got there, like a flag would, because he shot his grandmother too.
Yes, he did.
Shot her on the way out the door. Okay, I shoot you, Grandma, and now I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of kids. And like,
to answer Max there, I know for a fact that Jack Black is of the Democrat leaning side. So
I'm actually on his Twitter right now. I'm just checking to see if he's made any statements or comments. I don't think he has.
I don't know if he's making. I wouldn't call him Mr. Passionate, but I.
Oh, it doesn't look like he's a very active. He's not a very active tweeter. He's only tweeted like 4 times in the last 2 months. So,
well, they did put up that Rock the Vote. Or it was a parody of.
Yeah, they did. I forgot
Time
about
War,
that. Yeah.
which was like full of, had some Democratic people in there, including and very like left Democrats like Elizabeth Warren.
I do think though that Max is very clever here with him trying to get us to move on. Good one, Max. Good one.
Well, I just want to recommend.
Yeah.
I just want to recommend, like, if at all, like, if you got any sort of heart, there's that. I don't know if you guys seen that video that Anderson Cooper did with. He did an interview with one of the parents of the kids. If you haven't seen that one, and I was I was driving into work yesterday morning, and I was listening on the radio, and there was these people. We mentioned Sandy Hook 9 years ago, and there's just a group of them, of the parents of the the children that had died at Sandy Hook, and they all just dropped whatever they were doing and went down to Texas. To offer support because they knew what they were going through. And I just thought that was so sad that there was, like, this is just such not an anomaly.
Right. And you've got gigantic support groups of these people.
And they're just ready to go. They have it organized with their employers and all that if something like this happens, they're going to be gone for a week or two.
Yeah. Because
it happens so often.
Hey, if it happens again in the next short while, let's talk about it again. But I'm sorry if this is depressing you, Chris. I'm sure it's a lot harder on the people who were affected, though.
I understand it's depressing, but I think
Yeah.
it's important. I
I
think it's important and it's therapeutic too to talk.
Listen,
about
I don't
this
get
stuff.
political on the show very often. We very, very, very rarely get political. Even during the last election, we just made a couple of jokes about it. So, I'm sorry about that.
To me, this isn't even a political issue. It's about.
It's not even a
caring.
political
shouldn't
issue,
be.
although it has a political slant to it. Anyway. Let's not even go there. The point is, tonight we're talking about Tenacious D, so we're going to turn this boat around to
Let's get
a
the
much
comedy.
much more hilarious subject. In fact, Jack Black and Kyle Gass. So I just did a little bit of Wikipediaing earlier, and it turns out those two guys met in 1986, which is absolutely mind blowing to me. They were with the same comedy troupe, and eventually started playing together around 94-ish. And this led to befriending a lot of cool rock stars and an HBO TV show. And currently we stand at 4 albums, or 2 albums plus 1 soundtrack plus 1 video kind of soundtrack.
Close enough, actually.
But they have a lot of material that's on singles that they played in their early days that was only on the HBO show that maybe has only been played live.
Oh.
Is that me? It's exactly my phone sound. But anyway, we have a large pool of songs to draw from for Tenacious D, and I know for a fact that Kevin is hardcore, and Meat's seen him live. So
I've seen him live too.
ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
at the Cool House.
at the Cool House. Meat, you saw him in an outdoor gig.
No, it was indoor.
So-
Or maybe it
No,
was the
Meat
government.
saw them at an outdoor
So-
gig, right?
Saw them first time at the Rico Coliseum, which by the CNE in Toronto, and then at a place called Echo Beach, which is pretty much like Ontario Place area. There's a place called Echo Beach. It's been there for a few years now. I don't know if it lasted through the pandemic because I haven't really seen that name said much, but it was pretty neat.
All right.
Yeah. I remember the in that second show, it's called Echo Beach, and you're literally standing on a beach. It's all sand, and I guess when you're a little older, it's not easy to stand on sand.
No.
for an hour and a half. It is not easy at all. And at one point, like Jack Black is like, "Man, you Canadians are tough. You will stand on sand for." It was pretty memorable. Yeah.
All right, let's get it started. We're going to do the Nigel Tufnel Top 10 Tenacious D tunes.
Nigel, Tufnel. The top 10. Nigel, Tufnel. The top 10. Nigel, Tufnel. Oh, these ones go up to 11. Nigel, Tufnel. The top 10. Nigel, Tufnel. Nigel, Tufnel.
Kevin, you are up with your number 11. Let's get it started.
Can I give you my Tenacious D story? How I discovered them?
Yeah,
Because
start there.
I will as well. Go.
Well, I would like to hear that story. Because what was it? The movie High Fidelity had come out, and this character in this movie, played by this actor Jack Black, and throughout the entire movie, he's going on about he wants people to come and see his band, and he's such a terrible character throughout the whole movie, a snob and everything. You're just expecting that this band to be horrible at the end of the movie because they finally go and see it. They finally go and see Jack Black to perform, and Jack Black comes up on stage and just wails out this tune, and I'm like, oh,
It was Let's Get It On.
what is this? This guy can really sing. So I'm telling people about this at work, and you gotta see this movie High Fidelity with Jack Black, and I won't ruin the ending for you. You gotta see the movie. And they're like, oh yeah, we know Jack Black, and he's on these Tenacious D tapes. And when I worked I still work in television, but back in the day, like a lot of us didn't have like the high-end channels like HBO and all that. So there was always tapes circling around. Like that's where I first saw Trailer Park Boys and the British Office. I'd get like copies of Sex and the City for Sarah. There's always just VHS tapes of all sorts of things, and there was one tape with just these Tenacious D shorts. So I took it home and watched it, and I killed myself laughing, and I've been a fan ever since. So that's my Tenacious D story.
Okay, well, I'll do a Tenacious D story when we go. Okay,
I find that funny. Just I'll be quick too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think really serious D fans usually are ones that started with the shorts. It was the same thing for me. A mutual friend of me and Mike and an ex a manager buddy of his, Joe Perry from the record store. He had the video, the Masterworks, whatever it was, like where it was a DVD.
The Complete Masterworks Volume 1.
Yeah, he had that, and he was like, "Hey man, I think you're gonna really like." He tried to show it to me 3 different times, and I kept saying, "Nah, screw that. I don't want to watch it."
I bought it the first
So he
time
finally
I
watched
suggested it.
Yeah, we
I
watched
bought it
one,
immediately.
and then I made him watch them all, because I was what blew me away the most, and right off the bat, as you know, someone who tries to be a singer, is like, this isn't video. These aren't videos. This is them really playing every time. There's no lip syncing, no nothing. This is just them really playing, and it just instantly impressed me. And then when you mix the comedy of like, holy shit, these guys are really good live. I was so sold. It's not fun. So there it is.
He didn't start you on Butt Baby, right? Like that would.
I don't like that one.
No,
That'd be a tough one.
I'm almost wondering if I may have seen that first, or if it was after, but it might have been the same day.
I think if I remember right, it is on the DVD. I'm pretty sure it's on the DVD, and it was a DVD extra.
It is, because I ended up having it myself.
Okay,
it is.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, that was. Well, you had to get even if we had the tapes, we had to get the DVD because Butt Baby was on the DVD.
Totally. Okay, go on.
All right, do you want me to do my story?
Sure.
All right, so for me, it was 1996. The Cable Guy, both Jack Black and Kyle Gass are very identifiable, and I remembered them. Jack Black was the dude with the Soundgarden shirt who's like, "Are you ready to rock?" And they were going to go to the Soundgarden concert together, but then Matthew Broderick bailed on him to hang out with his new friend. And Kyle Gass was the guy at the end when the cable goes out. He lovingly picks up a book and just smiles as he's starting to read. And it was a very memorable scene by a very unique looking bald guy, you know? So I remembered them. And then Jack Black, of course, as Kevin said earlier in High Fidelity, blew me away with his comedic chops and at the surprise of the singing at the end. I had heard about the tapes, but I wasn't on the internet yet and wasn't really downloading or anything. So I'd never heard any of that stuff. I bought the album as soon as I found it at Sunrise. And I was actually disappointed because I wanted something that I could maybe enjoy in the store. Well, there is no store play for Tenacious D. No. So, there's a few. We'll get to it. That's my Tenacious D story. We won't talk it. We won't do a review.
You can't play
of the
cock
album.
push-ups in the store.
You know, I don't think Sylvia and Meredith would have liked cock push-ups as a song played in the store. What do you think, Eric?
How many cock push-ups can you
Don't
do?
you love that I'm naming? Don't you love that I'm naming names now?
No comment.
Anyway, Kevin, go ahead with your number 11.
Okay, so pretty much everything on my list is not on any of their albums.
Ooh, I love it.
Originally the assignment was to go deep.
Yeah.
We were to go deep.
Yes.
And then Meat sent me a message today saying, I'm not going to go so deep. I'm like, okay, well, I already went deep and I'm not changing my list.
No, I am going deep. You're just going super deep.
I guess so,
That's what it
yes.
was.
Okay.
Because I am
to
going
me,
deep.
I feel like everybody.
I have no big songs on mine. So
I feel that everybody should know all the songs on all the albums. Like that, none of them. They're all hits to me.
You're not too far wrong, but go ahead.
So my first one,
slightly delusional, but lovingly so.
Just a little
lovingly.
So my first one is the one song that did make it on the album. I was actually disappointed when the album came out that this song wasn't on it because it was one of my favorite songs. on in the HBO shorts, but when the first album came out, it was not on it, but it did make it to the second album, and that is History. That's on the Pick of Destiny as well. There's two different versions of it, but
Yep, you're right. I remember that now.
it's basically like their intro, like, you know, how they got together, and that it was, you know, all their stuff is made up, but it's still just a fun song. So.
And a memorable scene in
That
the
song
movie
is
is they're
way better
playing
on
there
the
on
short.
stage with these acoustic guitars trying to sound huge. You know?
Yeah, a lot of what's in the movie, like them getting together and all that, is kind of retelling of what was in the HBO shorts. You know, both great, but they're the same but different. Anyways,
In
that's my number 11.
I was
super deep.
In ways, I was kind of disappointed by History when it came on the album.
Yeah,
it just wasn't the same, so it wasn't what I was used to. Like,
yeah, well, in that, and I find that there's songs on the albums. There is, like, to me, the magic is that those guys, when it's just those two guys on stage with their acoustic guitars, and they rock so friggin' hard. I mean, I ran out and bought an acoustic guitar. Like, you know, I'm like, man, you could rock with an acoustic. I don't need an electric. I can get an acoustic. So
I can see that.
And on the albums, don't get me wrong, the albums are great. It's cool to hear David Grohl drum with them and all that, but it does lose a little bit of that. So I did put History HBO / Pick a Destiny. So it's really the HBO one that
primarily the HBO version.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. I'm not. They're
That's
both
fine.
good, but yeah, I do prefer the HBO ones. But
They should release a compilation album of the HBO tracks. They should. You should, Jack.
I wonder if the sound would be good enough. I guess it would be, because you remember it's a live setting, so it's not necessary. I think
True.
it realistically, purposely made it sound just a tad shitty, because it's supposed to be in a shitty open mic night. So I think that's kind of
There's a lot of like some people have done it, right? They've ripped them to CDs and all that. I had like I probably still have it of just the stuff from the HBO shows, and they got like, you know, glasses clanking and people talking in the background and stuff like that. So it'd be cool if there was like a native, like just a board
Instead of
off
a
the
rip.
board, if you will, you know, instead of ripped from the show. So,
all right, Meat Man, your number 11.
My number 11 is actually a song that I have learned to appreciate in the last couple of years. One that I didn't necessarily like the first time I heard it. It was actually my partner, or one of my partners in crime at Sausage Fest and the comedy shit, Bucky, who made me listen again to City Hall, the last song on the album. And then I heard it again at Sausage Fest loud, and I just loved everything about it. I was like, why did I not like this song? And I think one of the things was I was so used to the songs being short, and so, like, you know, that, wow, this is a longer song. Like, I like the shortest of it. So, but then when I was finally made to listen to it, I was like, well, this is not only a good comedy song, it's just, this is like a well-conceived, great song. So, yeah. Number 11,
actually,
City Hall from the first album.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I had a backup copy, if you will, of the album when it first came out. I got legit copies now, but my CD that I burnt it to wasn't big enough to fit City Hall on it. I guess the album's like long or something, but at the time I was like, City Hall, it's just City Hall. I'm not missing too much, and I got the rest of the album. But then when I finally got a legit copy and I listened to the whole song, I'm like, oh man, yeah, I was missing out on, you know, years of not having City Hall. So yeah, I totally see that.
That's why I had to include it. So there it is. Yeah. Okay.
All right, my number 11 is from the HBO show, and I chose, ironically, Kyle Took a Bullet for Me. It's a great song. It's a great song from a great episode. I believe that's the clogging episode, which will make no sense unless you've seen it, but it's the clogging episode. And Kyle actually does take a bullet for Jack in that episode and returns as a ghostly floaty Kyle. And it's just hilarious. And a great tune, actually.
Love it.
It's a great tune. So yeah, my number My number 11 from the fantastic HBO show that Joe Perry recommended to me. And I believe he told me to watch the clogging episode first. I think that's probably how it went down. And
That's neat.
it's great. It is absolutely great. And I believe, if I remember the details correctly, because I haven't rewatched or anything, but I believe Kyle's like giant friendship medallion that he shared with Jack saved him from the bullet ultimately.
Right.
It did. That's right.
Anyway, that's my number 11. Kevin, go ahead with your number 10. I don't know why I'm going
Okay.
in and out of focus.
My
Yeah,
number
I've been seeing
10.
a little bit of that.
My number 10 might be controversial because it might not even be considered a song.
Sketches count.
Well,
They'd have to.
Tracks.
Yeah, there's a couple of questionable ones. Well, I don't know. You tell me. They've only played it live. They haven't recorded it. I don't think they can because there might be some copyright issues if they actually record it. But my number 10 is Saksaboo.
I don't even know it.
You don't know Saksaboo?
Nope.
Come on.
I'm trying to picture what the song is, but the name is familiar. Is it? Oh, okay. I think now I remember.
So Jack Black basically just brings out this little saxophone toy, and you just hit buttons on it, but he sets it, and it plays this little ditty. But he sets it up as like this is like a professional instrument, like he's all like licking the reed and all that on this little plastic toy, and then you just hit a button, right, and it plays the whole thing. And sometimes they'll do like a little thing where like he just puts the microphone up to the saxophone and does this little thing. Sometimes the whole band will join in on it. It always kills. It's hilarious.
Well, that counts.
The funny thing is that there are some people on YouTube that try to like debunk the Saksaboo because some people believe that like Jack Black's actually playing it, and they're like, no, look, it's fake. It's just a toy. You can go buy this toy. And it's like, yeah, that's the joke, guys. That's the joke. But
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't connect the name of what you said to the thing actually happening. Of course, I remember that he did it. He did it 12 feet from me at Echo Beach. It was amazing.
Of course.
Like,
right.
So,
Yeah, I don't know.
So
some of the titles I have here are a little bit questionable because I don't know, like they're not like official songs, so they don't really have titles. So I just called it Saksaboo.
Well,
I don't know.
You use the common nomenclature.
Yeah, I guess.
I do love that you're going that deep. That's awesome.
Well, as Maxie Axe would say, super deep.
Yeah, well, I did my cock push-ups for this.
It's pretty awesome.
We haven't even gotten there yet. Anyway, okay, Meat Man, you're number 10.
My number 10. I'm kind of surprised this made my list, but I had to because it means something to me. And it's from the Picatasny album. And it's because this song it's made me tear up a couple times actually listening to the song. The song is Dude, I Totally Mess You. It's not long, but I remember that it affected me when I thought about it. When my father died, I thought about it when Paul McLeod died. I thought about it when Troy died. Like, this song meant something to me, and just totally, I totally miss the fucked up things you do, and like that's real life, and it's really, and it's well done, like it's well written. It's not one of the great songs, but it had to be on my list because it means something to me, and
that's a great reason. And I didn't think we would have that reason tonight. So
there you go.
We're all over the board, and I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, my number 10. Now, it just so happened that the way my list went, everything is happening in groupings of albums. So my number 10 is the first track from, not the first track on the album, but it's the first track in my list from the debut. And I listened to all the albums today with the exception of Post-Apocalypto, which I arbitrarily decided I didn't need to listen to.
No.
But I really still enjoy to this day, as dumb as it is, inward singing.
Inward singing?
Inward singing. And I'm really rocking. It's so fucking stupid. They're only rocking you half the time. But now I
Yeah,
figured out
it's
you
great.
sing out and then you sing in and then you sing out. It fucking sounds better when I'm singing in. It's so funny.
I find it interesting that even you put one of the sketches on, and I'll be honest, I didn't put any of the sketches, just
I had
on,
to,
which is a little surprising considering it's my thing and I've done a lot of it. Like I just purposely went with the songs. Just I don't know, it's weird.
Okay,
but
so spoiler alert. This is the only sketch on my list. Spoiler alert.
Okay, no, I still love that you picked it.
I put that fucking track sketch on like every mix CD that I had where I needed 2 minutes to fill it to 80, and it always worked. I would always find a place for it. I of all the sketches, and I listened to everything this morning.
That's funny.
That one just it still just I sat there in my chair at work just kind of listening to Jack singing in, and none of the other sketches really made me laugh like that. Although whatever the hell the title is of the one where they're ordering through the drive-through,
the drive-through
take one of the nuggets, throw them away. I'm watching my figure. That one, it was irritating me, but it was making me laugh at the same time. But it was also irritating me.
Every time someone says junior, I have to say a junior bacon with cheese. A junior. Trying to lose weight.
Yeah,
I'm watching my figure. So yeah, inward singing
bacon
is my
with
number
cheese.
10. And then they don't have enough money. I gotta cancel 2 things from my order. And then Kyle, what do you want? Let me think here. Oh, for God's sakes! Oh, the way Kyle is his punching bag, though. I know it's the comedy dynamic, but sometimes I honestly do feel bad for Kyle. Actually, you know what? I'll just keep babbling for 1 more minute. There was one more sketch that jumped out at me today, and it was Guitar Teacher off the Rise of the Phoenix album, when he was like Senor Flamenco or whatever the fuck his name was, and it basically is molesting Kyle. Is the guitar lesson? That's the lesson, and so those are 3 of maybe my top 3 sketches. If we're gonna talk about that, it would be Inward Singing, the Guitar Teacher, and the ordering of the fast food. Anyway, I've said enough. So I almost called him Kyle. Over to
Kyle.
Kevin. Over to Kevin with your number 9. Kyle. Not Kyle.
Damn, I forgot what I was going to say.
Hey, Lana, how you doing?
Hey,
Lana.
You know what, Kevin?
What?
You know what? Can you do me a quick favor? Because Lana was asking me a lot of questions earlier. Can you, just now that she's joined us, quickly sum up Tenacious D? Is it a band? Is it a comedy act? What is Tenacious D for Lana?
They're both.
There you go.
They're both, and they do both very well. So there you go. That's all you need. They're funny.
And by the way, Lana, I've seen them live twice, and both times, and the brain will confirm this. I have said many times that the only singer I've seen live that is better than Jack Black is Ronnie James Dio, and I saw him when he was 62 and he still kicked ass. I love Bruce Dickinson. I love that. You know what? They don't hold a candle to the mix of his stage presence and his quality vocals. At least the 2 times I saw him, it was always perfect.
Yeah, I read a review today where someone said like Jack Black's voice isn't that great, but he makes it work for him. I'm like, what?
I don't know about that.
Completely. Yeah,
I don't
completely disagree.
By the way,
right.
I didn't listen to Post Apocalypto for this either. I've only listened to that album all the way through once, and I watched
3 times maybe.
I watched the videos once, and that was it. It's a little weird.
Anyway, all right, Kevin, go ahead with your
good stuff.
Super deep number 9.
Okay, well, my number 9, it's a YouTube only video, and it's only number 9 because it's basically a cover of the Beatles' "You Never Give Me Your Money" / The End. When they came out with this, it only came out a couple of years ago, but it was just so fantastic because it was back to like the old D where it was just Kyle on guitar and Jack Black doing his thing, and they friggin' kill it. Even the drum solo on it, Jack Black kills the drum solo on it without playing any drums. It's all just like he's just making the noises and stuff. And it's good.
You're right. That's a killer track. I seem to remember that coming out before or near the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was like 2020. Yeah, I think it was at the start or something.
Last summer.
Yeah. Was it last summer?
I think it was
last
summer.
summer.
Was it not? I think it was last summer.
I'm not sure.
Last summer, you did your big Beatles medley for Sausage Fest.
No.
Yeah, that's when it was.
I think
it was interesting.
I think it was the year before because last year was.
It was last summer.
Or maybe.
It was last summer. I'll tell you why I know this. Because last year, like Mike said, we, as the roasters guys for the Sausage Fest, we redid Abbey Road, the album, most of it.
Side two.
And after we had done, the whole thing. The whole thing. And, but right after, 2 weeks after we had recorded that part, like the side two part, like the classic In My Life and all that, all of a sudden, I'm like, are you kidding me? Tenacious D did this, and I listened, I was just blown away. I'm like, wow, I can't believe that we're on the same thought process as Tenacious D. It's amazing.
Look at that!
Wow.
Wow!
He needs to get out more.
Wait, I would agree with that, but Meat was the guy that said that a movie has to be over 2.5 hours, or it's not very good. So that's the only thing I think I've disagreed with him so far.
I could say that's a controversial statement.
It is controversial.
I'm a fan of a good 90-minute film myself.
Sure.
I am.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it is. It's your number 9.
My number 9. Yes, it is from the HBO short specifically. Even though the album version is very good, but it is Explosivo. And I much prefer the HBO version, and that's saying a lot because I love the album version and I just adore the HBO version. The whole thing. I remember when the first time I heard it, like that first day, when he started doing the, and they go, holy! I'm like, wow! Like like I had to do a double take. I'm like, is there something added to that? I'm like, no, that's all his voice. He's doing that with his face, man. Like that is just so good. I just love the whole concept of the song, and there you go.
I actually listened to a weird remix of Explosivo today from the D Fun Pack EP, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for a remix. I'm not really a remix guy, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's a great way. I think that's one of the first songs on the Tenacious D album that I haven't listened to as the album, but in a while. But I think it's just kind of a great way to get acclimated with that band, that song. It says a lot about them, I think.
All right. Well, my number 9 follows my number 8, Inward Singing, for a very good reason. And that's because we mentioned earlier the idea of putting Inward Singing as filler on a mix CD to bump it up to 80. But whenever I included the song Tribute on a mix CD, I always tucked Inward Singing on there right before it as sort of like a lead in. And it always worked really well. Really, really well. And so I always kind of hear those two songs together, Inward Singing and Tribute. And I know, obviously, Kevin's going super deep tonight, so Tribute didn't make your list. But I cannot deny that I still like that song. And, we talked about songs that have personal attachment. Jen and I, we kind of, when we were dating, the Tenacious D movie had just come out. We're both big Jack Black fans. We're both watching a lot of Tenacious D. And that was one song that we could always sing along together in the car. So that's kind of a nice thing. And I'm sure today, if I threw that song on, she would be able to sing along with it with me again. And actually, spoiler alert, my number 1 song is the tune that we probably sang along to the most in the car over the years. But we'll get to that. So yeah, my number 9 is actually Tribute.
Well, Mike, if you want to make Tribute semi deep, you can go with the original.
Yes, the HBO. I considered that, but I honestly, I prefer the album cut, the movie version with Dave Grohl. And
really? Wow. Okay.
If I were to do album tracks only and best songs they've ever done, I'd have no choice but to put Tribute in the top 3.
Oh, they've
I
even
would have
said
to.
they've even said like that's their best song ever.
It is
you
a
know?
good
Well,
song.
Yeah.
Wait, stop. No, it's the greatest song in the world.
No, it's not. It's just a tribute.
No, that's well, yeah, good.
Because remember,
But-
I think they forgot how the greatest song in the world goes. I think is that how the lyric?
I
Yes.
couldn't remember the greatest song in the world. This is just a
This is
tribute.
just a tribute.
Right.
It's
But,
a pretty
but
damn good tribute.
originally, like the song was like it had like all elements of Stairway to Heaven thrown into it, and that they were hinting that the song
Right.
was Stairway to Heaven, but they had to drop all that and do like a remix for it for the album because they couldn't. I'm guessing the royalties would have been too much for them.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
not
glad
today.
that was on
but-
there.
Yeah.
That would have ruined it a little bit. It was perfect on its own. It just needed to be its own thing.
And
So you
let's face
prefer
it,
the album version too than the original with the Stairway to Heaven stuff?
Yes, I totally prefer the album version because I think they perfected it. I think
Okay.
it's all them, and
Yeah.
it's their greatest song in the world. I think some people would say, they gotta copy Zeppelin to make it good, and because there's a lot, let's face it, there's a lot of, and I run into a lot of people that I highly respect musically who won't even try Tenacious D. They know it's comedy. They just cannot seem to that the marriage of comedy and good music is possible. And there's a lot of people who just they've missed out completely on the great musicality and brains of the band just because they're just predispositioned to not be into it. There's a lot
I
like
am
that.
on the record as having a hard time digesting comedic rock, with very few exceptions. Like I remember Fozzy. It's like I do not like Fozzy. And Tenacious D, they're unique. They're like as Kevin described earlier, they're almost like equal parts of one and the other. And for whatever reason, the way that they've meshed those equal parts, I find it very appealing.
Yep.
And I can't say that for a lot of comedy rock stuff. That I think it's probably because, like Spinal Tap, the music is just so damn solid.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they're talented. They're talented guys, and their approach to it is very unique. It's self-deprecating in a way, like
Unawares though.
right. It's
No, but he's right. It's self-deprecating while it's bragging.
Right.
Yes.
It's a fine line.
the joke is that this band that's absolutely nobody thinks that they're like the greatest thing, but it's in a charming, cute way. It's not
Yes.
in
It's not in a spiteful, mean way.
right, exactly. Like they're not looking down on anyone else. They just
except for
believe
Arcade
that they're
Fire.
so well. We wouldn't look down on them. But
I was sorry to interrupt, but I was listening to Rise of the Phoenix today, and I just again split my sides laughing when Jack Black's like, we got to be better than Arcade Fire. They suck. Yeah, I loved it. I was like, fuck, I love it. Sorry to interrupt.
They're hateable though.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's
Anyway,
be honest.
go ahead, Kevin. It's your number 8.
Number 8. Okay, so for my number 8, I believe this has come out on iTunes. I don't think it had an official release. It came out at the same time as Rise of the Phoenix, but I went with the 5 Needs.
It's the iTunes bonus track.
Okay, and I just think it's a great song. It's only like a minute and a half. I wish it was like 5 or 6 minutes because it's just so gorgeous. And Jack Black just sings about the 5 needs that you need, and then that's it. That's like earth, water, shelter. That's it, and then it's done. But it's just so like I debated because it's so short. I debated on whether or not I should put it on here, but I'm like, no, I like this song, even if it's only a minute and a half. I like it that much, so that's why it's my number 8.
Now, interestingly enough, and I'm going to go to the Wikipedia page to confirm, 5 Needs was one of the earliest tunes in the movie Biodome, 1996.
I've never seen it.
Kyle Gass and Jack Black were invited to perform a short song in the film. The two wrote the song 5 Needs, and it was their very first on-screen appearance as Tenacious D. How cool. Look at this. What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
you can please everybody, but Chris Starr.
Meat needs to start juggling or something, or I don't know. Anyway, that's their factoid about 5
completely irrelevant that some guys type in Z's. That's all I know.
Apparently, anyway, Kevin,
Thanks
to
for the
compliment
Z's.
your choice, that is a super deep.
Super deep.
I've never seen Biodome.
It's funny. It's funny because now I didn't get it wasn't a message on the show, but I just looked 3 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago, I got a message from Phil Desmond saying, "Wow, this is a great show." So,
whoa,
Chris Starr,
I'm
go.
getting.
I go walk your kangaroo. Who cares?
I'm getting a private message here. Hang on. I can hear. Okay, never mind. It's not from Chris. I thought it was. it's irrelevant. Anyway, where were we?
All I
Number
say
8.
is, if you watch one or two of the HBO shows, you're going to know exactly why we love it.
Yeah, actually, Chris, go. Are they on YouTube? Watch the one about clogging. Oh my God, it's so funny.
They're all on YouTube.
Harrison has a wit to him, doesn't he? He has a wit.
Of course he does.
Anyway, Meat, you're number 8.
He does. My number 8. Okay, my number 8 is, well, more HBO shirt. All I gotta say is when KG pops Jenny Craig mac and cheese to me, that's a special thing. The song "Special Thing," which is actually a trio of people singing, with Tenacious D, Jack Black, KG, and Lee. There's actually a song about Lee, of course, but Lee actually is doing the trio, and I love that song so much. I have sang that song, with maybe a few brown pops in me many times because I just can't get it out of my head. I can't get it out of my head. I love it so much, and I wanted to put it higher, but there's ones that just mean more to me physically, like emotional kind of thing.
Okay,
but Special Things, it's as touching as it gets for me. It's just perfect. Love it.
And the funny thing about that song is like how like Lee starts on vocals and right away Jack Black pretty much like kind of interrupts him and say, "Hey, this is a special thing. It's not going to happen all the time. We're still Tenacious D. There's only 2 of us. He's only here for one song. That's the song. It's so it's hilarious.
I love it.
Well, that's ironic
so
because my number 8 song is, in fact, Lee. I love that song. I love that song. Yeah. And I loved in the movie when Lee is the pizza delivery guy. They befriend him and he becomes their number 1 fan. And oh God, I love that whole character of Lee in the movie. But and it made me love the song even more. And it's pretty simple, that song. It's Lee 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 Talk fucking Lee. It's it's pretty straightforward, but damn if it isn't catchy. Yeah. Peace out, hockey is on. Well, fuck Chris, you two. What a
dude! I'm not gonna totally miss you. Go watch hockey.
Can't believe it. What did he? What kind of? He just. As far as I'm concerned, he just told us to fuck off.
It's just the best position to be in is not one where you're trying to impress Chris Starr.
It's very difficult. Right. Like he has been extremely critical of a number of my shows recently.
That's fine.
You okay, sweetie?
Yeah, I'm just standing outside.
Okay. Yeah, he's been very critical of a number of my shows.
Okay, so Chris Starr is around and he has an opinion. It's like if an ant has an opinion when you're sitting on a picnic table. Who cares?
You flick it off and you keep eating.
Oh well. Sorry, Chris. Sorry. I guess whatever. I guess next time we'll do Bon Jovi.
Your loss.
Bon Jovi next time. So that was my number 8. It is now Kevin's number 7. And okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, so this song is probably the only song that I can't remember how this one came about to be. but it's on YouTube only again, or it might be somewhere else. I don't know. It's "Don't Blow It" Cage, and it's a song that they did with Jack White. And I
yeah.
love it, and I watch it on YouTube. But for the life of me, I can't remember how this song came about to be. I don't know if Jack Black or Jack White was doing something, or if it was a charity thing or something like that. But
from what they went to Jack White's place, and
Yes.
supposedly it wasn't some sort of big thing. It was just I think he might have invited them. Or
Okay.
something. It's something like it's not like a business thing. It's not like a record. Like they might have been whatever, had the same record cover. Something happened, but it was just very casual. Hey, you want to come? And
yeah. Well, Jack
write a
White
tune?
has like several recording studios. I know there's one in Detroit where he'll just invite people to come, and they'll like record a show, and then they'll just press it to vinyl, and there we go. But this one was
Yeah.
different. It was just the one song or whatever. But it sounds like as if they just made it up like within a few minutes, and it's friggin' fantastic. It's great. It's my favorite. Like it's just just the acoustic guitars again, and it's just a hilarious song. And Jack White kind of makes a little appearance in the song. Like I think he says a couple of words. But
Yes, it's not a lot. It's not.
No.
Not. It wasn't about him.
right, yeah. But it's
I
good.
think it was about him just wanting to hang with them.
Right. Well, that's what the song was about, them trying to impress Jack White, right? And then Kyle plays a guitar solo to impress him, and then Jack White or Jack Black, I get my Jacks mixed up. Jack berates him for like a minute on how terrible his solo was, and then Jack White comes in and says, "I thought the solo was great. You want to come in a band with me?" And then Jack Black switches.
I wonder if it's just as simple as somebody went, "Hey, maybe Jack Black and Jack White should get together."
Who knows?
It's
Yeah,
Probably they've probably seen that. So many people say that over the years. In fact,
Yeah, that's funny.
Great song. Anyways, check it out on the YouTube.
running commentary from Chris Sarr. Whoop-de-doo. I didn't laugh once, and the show started off very bleak. So thanks, Chris. Thank you for your support as always. Meat Man, your number 7.
My number 7 is another HBO one that could have been even higher again. And it's funny because the other night, T-Bone will attest to this, I kind of that bombarded him on Facebook Messenger with thoughts and links of Tenacious D shorts. And I know we watched the first one, and then he said he was watching the second one, and he was into it. And while he was watching the second one, he goes, he said something about cosmic change, and I'm like, well, wait a second, that's the third short. That's not the second short. And then it just got me putting on cosmic change, and I'm like, oh my god, it might be my favorite. It's one of my favorite moments of the HBO shorts is the song "Cosmic Change," and the whole idea of like, I set the artist free, I quit your day job and everything. Like, it totally mixes with the band's personality. It's like, hey, nothing matters but the music, and because it's kind of an escape. That's what it is. They're playing characters, and they're playing them well, and they're playing music well during it. And it really is the perfect mix of comedy and music. And Cosmic Change is absolutely awesome. It had to be on my list. Again, there are just too many other things that personally have affected me, whatever, that it wasn't. But Cosmic Change is brilliant, and I'll be shocked if it's not on Kevin's list, because it's not on an album. And so yeah.
Now, is it Cosmic Change or Cosmic Shame?
Yeah. Cosmic Shame is probably right.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I wrote it down. And yes, it is Cosmic Shame. Sorry.
Okay. No, I'm just
that's my bad.
because like I said, a lot of my titles
right.
are kind of like a little weird, but okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. I just wrote it down wrong and then read it stupid. But yeah, love it.
That's what the show's all about.
That's right. Being stupid. My number 7 is man, and this is where I started to run into what do I leave off? I was really struggling with a lot of tunes at this point, but I really love the title opening track to Rise of the Phoenix, and playing them today. Rise of the Phoenix might be my favorite album of theirs as a musical album to listen to. I mean, it's probably the least sketchy and the most musical of their albums. And it rocks. Rise of the Phoenix is that opening track is wicked. That's just wicked. It's, they go in full speed on the acoustic, which is great. Can't remember who plays drums on that, if it's Dave Grohl or Brooks Wackerman. But the drums on that album are fantastic.
I think Grohl plays on. And you know what? That's a good question, really, because
let's do this.
Chad Wackerman's son.
And he tours with Brooks Wackerman is their touring drummer. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the drummer I saw live twice. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go to the wiki.
Son of jazz fusion guy Chad Wackerman.
Dave Grohl played drums on all songs except for The Ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage, and They Fucked Our Asses.
Yeah.
What a song.
I guess it's Dave Grohl. If you can get him, you get him.
Yeah. And he's got such a great snare drum sound too. It's like the kind that just hits you in the gut. Love his snare drum sound.
True enough.
I for one am always grateful anytime I can buy an album where Dave Grohl plays drums. So I love stuff like Probot and Tenacious D.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my number 7. Do you want to take a break now, or do you want to do the 6?
I'd be cool with a 5-minute break. Why not?
Okay,
cool.
Should I play ODP since Kevin's got that as his? No. Okay, so
don't play any Maxi Axe. Don't play don't play any heavy cutting. Don't play any ODP. Play something that has nothing to do with me.
Nothing to do with you.
Nothing.
That's all he's got.
I don't care.
That's all
just
got.
I don't want anything.
All right. You know what? We haven't played.
Thinking about T-Bone.
We haven't played Fuck Pants in a long time.
There you go.
It's been months. Okay, so we will be back in about 4 minutes. This is Fuck Pants by T-Bone Erickson.
Screen in a virtual world that ain't what it seems. Everyone trying to get through the day as the world goes crazy. It's crazy to say. We struggle to keep our creatures of habit at bay. What you see ain't what you get, so don't stand up, or at least not yet. Stop the spinning wheel, don't have to take that. How do you think they feel wearing your hat? Get up on your feet and take a stance. It's time to tell the world, fuck pants. You've been locked inside, hiding away, talking to the walls to hear what they say. As the world outside comes closer to war, you decide you don't wear slacks anymore. And you question why you ever wore them before. It's good to spend some time alone, get your moral values down in stone. Stop the spinning wheel, don't have to take that. How do you think they feel wearing your hat? Get up on your feet and take a stance. It's time to tell the world, fuck pants. a sneak in a glance. Don't need Purell or an N95 to let it all hang out. It feels so alive. A virtual quarantine of the perverted kind. If you don't like it, wait and see. You won't wanna miss my ODD. Stop the spinning wheel, don't have to take that. How do you think they feel wearing your hat? Get up on your feet and take a stance. It's time to tell the world, fuck the past. It's time to tell the world, fuck the past. It's time to tell the world, fuck the past. It's time to tell the world. It's time to tell the world. It's time to tell the world, fuck the past.
This is a Coke with coffee, which is my latest addiction. And this is my mug that's been sitting in the freezer.
Frosty.
Oh, I love this stuff. I know you're not a big caffeine guy, but
I love coffee.
but you're not a big caffeine junkie.
Pop guy. I'm not a big pop guy.
Right.
I got myself a no boats on Sunday. Apple cider.
Oh, that
Really good.
sounds lovely.
It's really good. You should feel honored because I don't break these out too often. They're kind of pricey. So
I can see the steam emanating from this glass, and my hand gets cool as it.
that's
what's
really
really what's really neat is the Coke actually turns to ice around the rim of the glass.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and I love the Coke with coffee. We've talked about this in the past, but I used to love that Coca-Cola Black, and this is as close as you get.
Couldn't you just do the same, like brew yourself a coffee and put some Coke in it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No,
I just brewed another coffee. Oh, and I wanted to say something completely about something else, just quickly. In Kitchener, we have something called the Blues Fest.
Oh yeah,
and it's been a couple of years, obviously, since it's been relevant. Well, man, it's relevant now because one of my favorite bands, a 5-Alarm Funk, who I've seen live 5 times, and that I'm seeing on August 5th on Bucky's birthday in Hamilton, is playing August 6th at the Blues Fest for free. That's why it's going to be my 6th and 7th time seeing them. And then another one of my favorite bands, Drive By Truckers, are playing for free.
Wow.
For free for an hour and a half, getting like the main stage, main treatment. And I've seen the Truckers twice, and I should have seen them a lot more. People like Joe Perry and Tom Morwood, Scotty Jeff Ross, etc. They have seen them 10, 12 times. I cannot wait. I just love that the Blues Fest came back with a vengeance. And there's some other things in there. There's Sloan's, and Sloan's there for free. So is David Wilcox, Headstone, and other things. So awesome shit, man.
I know our mutual friend Michael loves Sloan.
Yes, he does.
Regardless of his Uncle Tom's opinions on Sloan, which we shall not repeat here on this show. For very good reason. We don't need to get canceled. Okay, so canceled. We are on round 6, and we are going with Kevin to start.
Okay, so I think everything else on my list is from the HBO except for one song. So my number 6 is one that never made on any of the albums. Should have, but Jesus Ranch.
It was a bonus track on something. I have it on a single B-side.
Yes,
it's on
I
a
think
single
it was.
B-side.
I think it was on a B-side, and it was on their demo tape before they even did the HBO shorts. But that one in particular on the HBO short is particularly good.
Yeah, Lana, it's pretty awesome. You know, it's pretty cool.
I know in the eBay Discogs era, I've managed to get 2 Tenacious D rarities, which are that D Fun Pack and whatever single it is that has Jesus Ranch. and I think Kong is on there. Something
Yeah.
I think I've got a few, but Tenacious D singles and stuff are not cheap. Like the Jazz EP is not. It's prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
So
on any format.
So about Jesus Ranch, I want to quickly refer to Tom Morwood, who I'll make notes well, and let's just say that him and I have had two major battling points for years about Tenacious D. The first one is he loves the movie, calls it top shelf, and I refuse, and I refuse to call it that. I think it's good. I think it's very. I'd even go, very good, but I will not say great because I don't think the movie is great. It kind of disappointed me in many ways, enough ways that I will not say the movie is great. So that was the first one. The second one was that he thinks that Jesus Ranch is one of the best things I've ever done, and it's a song that for some reason it's just one of the ones I don't like. I don't know why. It's certainly no religious conviction. It has nothing to do with that. It's just something about the song I just don't like, and he loves it, and obviously you love it. But the way it is, that's music. It's subjective. So whatever.
And as for me, I find it kind of like not really memorable, to be honest with you. So we're split. We are split. Opinions are split.
So on that, I am curious. Would either of you call that movie great?
No. But is it one of... See, there's objectively great. There's subjectively great.
I think it is great until they find the pick of destiny. Until they're like flipping through the magazine and they're like, oh, let's go get the... And then once they go on the journey for the pick of destiny, I think that's where it kind of loses, because then it just becomes like movie.
Okay. So great point. And I'm going to get picky because what I'm looking for is it good or great? So what would you say? Is it overall, very good or is it great?
I will say no.
Overall just good.
Can't call it.
There you go. See, that's the thing. Tom and I and he's a huge fan. And I asked Mike to play some stupid video of something that is in his. It's in. He just moved, and the funny thing is, he just made this decision because he just moved like a few months ago into a house. In the corner of his kitchen, he has this plaque of Tenacious D with the concert stub and pictures taken at the show that are right there. I mean, that's how much he loves Tenacious D. So it is interesting. I was curious to get you guys' thoughts.
Did you want me to play that video?
Well, you can. I don't know if it's going to show. It's on.
I haven't downloaded it, so
if not, who cares?
Or I could play it at the end.
You can maybe that. You can try that. But yeah, it's.
But there, I just say like there are some great stuff in it, like the Dio. That's probably like the best part. Is
the beginning of the movie.
Let's not.
At the beginning of the movie might be the greatest rock video of all time. Anyway,
we still. Stuff is still coming.
That's fair.
It's your number 6. I think
my number.
Is it my number 6?
I think it's my number 6.
Yeah, we're going to. I did Jesus Ranch.
It is my number 6.
Yeah.
Well, my number 6 is them playing on Saturday Night Live, and I loved it so much. And it wasn't. We're talking about like New Wave tried to kill the metal, and all of it. That song spoke to me because it was again. It's like he's Conan the Barbarian sticking up for metal. That's what the lyrics convey. Like with emitting his voice, booming like you can't kill the metal. Like it's literally like he's playing a character. This is partly why I think that Tenacious D is so special. Is that you're literally getting the talents of a guy that's a movie star and a great musician, and most are not both, and that and he does things so well that even in just the music, he's still acting and well, 90% well. And when acting, he's probably not that great of an actor. But I just mean that when you combine the two, it's special. It's a special thing.
I just want to say one thing about him as an actor. A special thing. I liked him in King Kong. I like Peter Jackson's King Kong. I mean, I would never say it's better than the original or whatever, but I like Peter Jackson, and I liked his slant on King Kong, his way too overindulgent slant on King Kong. And I thought casting Jack Black as Jack, I think it was he Jack Darrow? I can't remember the name of the character. The guy who kidnaps Kong and puts him on display in New York. Black was great. And you know what? He had the famous line, "'Twas beauty who killed the beast." And
yeah, but that's not a comedy role. So
no, that's just him acting, man.
I do hear you on that. Yeah,
he like it might not have been the performance of an Oscar award worthy, but he did well in a challenging role. You're playing the guy from King Kong, you know, and you got to give the guy credit.
Think about that.
You got to give the guy credit.
I'll give you credit because I actually thought about it like yesterday, like what would be his favorite movie, and I didn't even think of that movie. It just didn't come to my mind.
Oh, and Harrison.
Oh well,
yeah. It is. But
and it wouldn't surprise me.
I think you can like both.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the comedic flavor that Jack Black could put into a role could make what Harrison said a fun movie, because he's actually made some aspects of it fun, not just scary. So that's interesting.
What I've heard, I haven't seen King Kong and I haven't seen the Jumanji movies, but I've heard that he's really good in those.
I like the Jumanji movies, and that is completely not usually my bag. But it's because he's in them that it's like I can tolerate some of the stink around, even though there's not a lot of stink. I mean, they are all really good. So,
like, honestly, for me, the only time I've seen Jack Black in a movie and I didn't like it was that Tropic Thunder movie. I don't know what character he was playing in that. There was something off.
He was playing the guy from the Fatties Fart 2.
But everything else, I haven't seen every movie. I haven't seen that Gulliver's Travels.
I watched about 15 minutes of Gulliver's Travels and turned it off.
Yeah, and then there was like that was when he was trying to be Mr. Hollywood, right? Like they were. I think he was
trying to do a lot of. I think he had kids and was trying to do family-friendly films more.
Well, it's one of those things where if you want to do stuff like the Tenacious D movie, you got to do the fodder in order to get the funding for your real projects that you want to do.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
He did like
whose turn was it?
Mine. Do you remember that really shitty rom-com they did? I think it was The Holiday. It was the Christmas
Holiday.
one.
You know what? I don't hate that movie. Tom hates that movie, and I get why.
Jen made me rent it, and I will remind her of that to this day whenever we're in a fight.
I don't hate it. I don't like
my number 6, or is it number? What number are we on? Number 6. There it is. Continuing on with Rise of the Phoenix. If there was one song on Rise of the Phoenix that you could call the epic of the album, I think it's undeniable. It has to be Roadie. And this is a song that, it makes me laugh. Especially when he's like doing that bit at the beginning where he's like, man, I'd like to suck a your dick. And, to get the backstage pass.
Breaking news.
It's like, this is the ode to the roadie, the unsung heroes of rock and roll. And it's so hilarious. And it's so also predictable that that's where he would go when talking about the duties of the roadie. But, the guardians of the backstage pass that you must pay the price to get.
Well, the song, even on its own, is good and funny. But then you add like a funny guy like Danny Cox into that video.
I've never seen the video. Never seen it.
What?
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh my God.
I picked it purely based on the song.
You just made my point that the song is funny without even seeing the video. If you haven't seen the video, that movie, that video will kick your ass.
Well, I will watch the video.
I guarantee it.
Now, I will say, I played this song for a few coworkers that I thought would be into it because they like the same kind of sense of humor. You know, they didn't like it. I think, and this is
I've done it
problem.
too. I've tried.
This is a problem that sometimes happens, but I think Tenacious D might ride that line of vulgarity a little bit too hard sometimes to one side and might take things too far, but that's all subjective. I think that they do cross the line into where I'm like going from laughing out loud to cringing a bit sometimes. But anyway, that's my number 6.
I think
Roadie.
I honestly believe that some people just cannot picture comedy and good music together. It's like George Costanza, worlds are colliding. Like, this is not making sense to me. Like,
Roadie is great.
That's what
musically.
I think. No, it's great.
Anyway, Kevin, your number 5.
My number 5 is again from HBO. I don't believe it's on any of the albums. It might be because they kind of do half and half songs. But I went with Warning.
Don't know.
Wow, that's
Warning.
deep.
That's deep.
I know of it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. That is. Oh my god, you
gotta
really
watch
are
it,
deep
too.
in it.
Yeah. I told you I went deep.
I
did
love
my
it because it's like we got deepest, deep, and shallow. In the not shallow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, shallow. Shallow's the right word.
Wrong word. Wrong word.
Chris Sarr just sent me a message. It says viewership dropped when I left. Yeah, dropped by 1.
Okay.
Anyway, Meat Man, your number 5.
Number 5, it is. Well, again, it's because it's important to me. There was a song that I love that a certain someone, rest in peace, Mr. Paul McLeod, he made me watch this video because he was a big time cyclist. He cycled a lot and he was very into the sport of cycling and watching it and whatever.
I didn't know that.
So he found this video that was like a compilation of people doing like in like extreme conditions of biking, and it's the song Wonder Boy. And so he kept playing, and he fell in love with the song, and I had already known the song like very, very well, but he kept playing it, and I got into the song like so much. And then at one point he started learning on the guitar, and now I'm singing it with him when we're all looped up, and it was just just so much dimension to the song for me now. It's an incredible song, but it's something that I have experienced on a listening level, a playing level, and appreciating it both ways. It's just amazing. There it is. Wonder Boy is lovely.
It is. It almost made my list. Rounding out my picks from Rise of the Phoenix, which was very, very difficult because I had to leave out Quantum Leap, which is a song that name drops Leonard Nimoy. That stung. And that was also a super deep cut because I had to buy it from the US.
Not the only song that name drops Leonard Nimoy.
What's the other?
Don't say it.
Okay,
stop.
We'll get there. Okay, so my favorite song, and I am ashamed and proud to admit that I subjected my beloved mother-in-law to this song in the car. 39. Which is as graphic as it gets, but it's a great vocal performance by Jack Black that kind of borders on like a Neil Diamond kind of character as far as the vocal goes. Lyrically, It's about as my favorite line in that song is, and then a fucking riddle diddly do. Oh man, I can't repeat any more of that song other than, and then I fucking riddle diddle dee doo. But the subject matter of the song is that 39 is the ideal age for a woman for you to date, because she's still okay, but not so much that other guys are going to be after her. So 39, go for the 39-year-old. Not too old, just right, or something like that. I owe my mother-in-law so many thanks for she just wanted me to be happy, you know. And if we were in the car and I wanted to play a song, she just wanted me to be happy. And I think, again, I really honestly believe that she did appreciate his vocal performance because it's fucking great. 39 from Rise of the Phoenix.
My only comment is I respect that mother-in-law, and other than that, no comment.
I'll tell you two other things about her. I made her watch the Anvil movie, and I purposely left out the fact that there's full frontal nudity in there. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I lied to her, but she was the most wonderful woman in the world, and I wish both of you got to meet her because you'd both love her, and she would have bought you both dinner just because that's what she did. So that's my number 5.
All right. Great choice.
Kevin. Yeah, okay. We're off to Kevin.
Number 4 is the other song that references Leonard Nimoy, and that is Sasquatch. I think that's what it's called.
The real Sasquatch.
Yes. So it ties into Leonard Nimoy and In Search Of, and it's just good times. I love it. I don't know, like pretty much the whole HBO short is the song because they keep going back to the song throughout the whole thing. But yeah, it's good.
That was a kick gets In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy kicking up the jams. That's amazing. I love it.
How could that not make any of their albums, man? Like it's still just sitting there on HBO. Like
mind blowing.
Yeah.
How it didn't make an album.
Yep.
You couldn't fucking agree more. Okay, what does that mean? Is that my 4?
You're on 4.
You're on 4.
Well, that's perfect segue. Is my number 4? It's just low hanging fruit because that song just it was just too catchy and it was just too much. It's just too much meat chop stuff, the melody stuff that I love, everything about it. I fell in love with the song, like, and again, it's another one I just couldn't stop singing all the time. It just wouldn't stop. Like amazing stuff, and the video is fun. You know, it's fun. It definitely, but the song is just so great. Again, it was played at Sausage Fest, you know, like a lot of Tenacious D has, and loud. It just sounded amazing. So there it is.
Nice.
That is my number. What? It was my number 4.
Right? 4.
It was my number 4. Yeah.
It's another one from Rise of the Phoenix.
Yep.
Good tune.
All right. My number 4 is a song this is the first repeat maybe of the night from the Pick of Destiny. It's the Metal.
Yeah, the Metal.
And I think the Metal was a listed track. It wasn't an unlisted bonus track, right?
No, it was on there.
No, it was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did want to mention, just because I kind of associate the two songs together in my mind, I just wanted to mention a non-Tenacious D song that also rocks and people would love called I Am the Warlock by Probot, which was the unlisted bonus track on the Probot album. And to me, when I hear it, it sounds like D. You know, it sounds like, and the character that Jack Black is playing in that song, it sounds like something he would do in Tenacious D.
That Probot song played at Sausage Fest last year.
No way. And that's an unlisted bonus track, folks. That is not on the back cover. And I don't think Jack Black is credited on that album at all. But I am quite fond of that Probot album. I know at the time it got trashed by a lot of people that I knew. Like, oh, this Dave Grohl doing metal. There's not even guitar solos on the album. This isn't metal. It's false metal. And it's like,
his heart was in the right place. His heart was in the right place.
It's a good album.
Guy's the best fan of music I've ever.
So many good lead singers on that album. That tune, Shake Your Blood. That tune, Shake Your Blood with Lemmy.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my number 4. Once again, that is the Metal, which we've already discussed. I think it's the end credit theme, the end credit music in the Pick of Destiny, if I'm not mistaken.
Might be.
No, it's not. That would be POD, or maybe it's both. I don't know.
Well, the timing of that song was great too, because that's when metal was on its way back. Because throughout the 90s, early 2000s, metal was trash.
Sabbath was huge again. Priest were big again. Maiden.
AC/DC was coming back. It was all coming back.
It was all coming back.
Yeah.
You cannot kill the metal.
That's right.
And they all
tried,
had a baby,
and they were thrown to the
Tenacious D.
That's right.
So this brings us into the top three. The top 3D.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 3 might be the most controversial because I don't think. Well, they've only done it live. It might not be a song. It might not be a comedy bit. It's definitely a mixture of both. It's sort of a cover, but not really. And that is Spider-Man.
I didn't know.
I have not seen that.
You guys have not heard
No.
Tenacious D do Spider-Man? Oh,
no.
My goodness.
I don't think I've seen that.
I don't know if I should tell you. I don't know if I want to spoil it. I don't know if I want to get into it, but
I'm gonna check that out. I'm very curious.
Can you give me some context?
All right, what
the
heck?
It was made for?
I'll spoil.
Or was it just some?
Basically, Lee comes out in this cheap Spider-Man outfit, like the pant legs only come down so far, and he's wearing sneakers, and he's just dressed like in this terrible Spider-Man outfit, and Jack Black just makes fun of him the whole time as he gets into a fight with one of the stagehands, and he's just cheap Spider-Man, and he does this whole routine and everything. And the night that I saw him, I tried to find this online, but I couldn't find it. But the night that I saw him, so Spider-Man, so he would come out with these like silly string cans, right? Cans of silly string, and just spray them around like they were his webbing, right? And the night that he did it for us, one of the cans didn't work, and Jack Black was laughing so hard he couldn't get through the song because Lee was trying to get the can to work, and it just wasn't working. So if you go online, this was like 2004 or 2, or it was early 2000. But if you go online and you look at every show that they did before Toronto, Lee comes out with the can, and every show after that, it's like some sort of weird thing that he just kind of throws. So I think I was like at a pivotal moment where they decided to retire the can and move on to another type of webbing. So that's why this.
At the Cool House in Toronto?
Yeah, it's like a, is it called the Cool House or the government? Or I think it's the two. Yeah, that's where I saw them.
Do you remember when that was?
It was before, well, like when that first album came out.
See,
it was either like when did that album
makes
come out?
sense.
2002 or 2004?
2003.
Wow.
I think.
Okay.
I love that you were hooked onto that band at that point. That's impressive to me. That's awesome.
Well, I remember being there.
You saw that first tour. That's amazing.
I remember being there too, and like nobody, like Jack Black was like a rising star too. He had like Orange County coming out and that, and like, man, there's like a superstar
Orange
right
County.
here. Yeah,
good movie.
I just got that on Blu-ray.
It is a good movie.
It finally came out on Blu-ray, so I just picked it up a couple of weeks ago.
Fucking Harold Ramis is in that movie.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see when that first time I saw them was. Oh my God.
It was a great show.
Oh, there it is. Right. November 27th, 2006. That's when I saw them. So yeah, I mean, it had to be then because when you saw them, I didn't even know who they were. That's awesome.
Yeah, maybe they didn't do the maybe they retired the Spider-Man bit after that, but that was yeah. But
so I may have never seen it unless I do think that it's familiar, and I may have come across it on on YouTube and maybe just kind of scanned it but didn't really pay attention to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like if you were to hear it on a bootleg or something like that, like it's just like, why the hell is he ripping on this guy? But when you see it, it's like it's the funniest thing ever because he comes out in like this terrible Spider-Man. Like that's part of the self-deprecating thing is that they couldn't, afford a good Spider-Man. They got bargain Spider-Man to come out on stage and so good.
Yeah.
Orange County. Was that Catherine O'Hara that played the mom?
Yes.
Jack Black's mom?
Yeah,
yes.
I think so, yeah. Yeah. It's a good movie.
She's so great.
She's she steals the show in it, and Harold Ramis. They're both fantastic in it.
Surprised
just say
Stephen
that-
Levy didn't
Let's
show
just
up
say
this
that
week.
SCTV guys seem to know how to steal a lot of shows.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
For
do.
sure.
All right, Meat. I know you said you wanted to be done by 9, so
Yeah,
go to number
yeah.
3.
Number 3 is, well, another song from Rise of the Phoenix, because it is Rise of the Phoenix. I love the song a lot. I remember when that album came out that I was kind of obsessed with listening to that particular song on headphones. That it sounded so clear and cool, loud, with just the acoustic guitar. It was really well produced. It was like this, and then when it booms, it's just and of course it's surrounded by great musicianship. Like that band that they got together, that live band and whatever, was good too. That guitar player, right now his name escapes me. I used to know what it was, but he's a hell of a guitar player, and he makes up for the only lacking part of the greatest band in the world, and that's an electric guitar player. Oh, and I guess a bass player, really, if you're being technical. And I guess a drum, if you're really being technical. So that's kind of the comedy of it. There you go.
So that is a repeat with one of my picks.
Yeah.
Making it, what? Is it 2 or 3 repeats that we've had tonight? But very few. Very, very few.
Not many.
This one might be a repeat, but I don't think so. I don't think anybody has picked the title track from the Pick of Destiny yet. It's just a pick of destiny, child. That's just a great song. Just a great song. And it gets a little goofy at the end when he just starts rhyming stuff that happened to rhyme. But it's great. It's great. These guys do not get enough credit for writing good songs and good riffs.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree. It's a good song.
Cinematic quality, that indeed was the end credit music.
That certainly
Although
was.
I think there might have had 2 songs, because a lot of end credits are so long that they have to use 2 songs. So I think they might have that and the metal.
Yeah.
But the Pick of Destiny was definitely the one that comes crashing in at as soon as the credits hit. And it's just a great tune. It's a great tune. Ultimately is the Tenacious D album that gets played the most in our car. So that's my number 3. Yes, that's it. Number 3. So now we are into the top 2 with hold on one second here. Okay, no new comments. Number 2, Mr. Keff.
Okay, number 2, we talked about it already. Leon vocals, special thing. Beautiful song. It's gorgeous. Amazing that it's not on any of their albums. Somehow it's not there. But they do play it live. I've seen them play it live, and it's just a fantastic tune.
I have not seen them play it live.
Yeah,
I don't think they played it this. I know they didn't the first time, and I don't think they did the second time. So,
like when I saw him, like Lee was like part of the show, right? Like Lee was.
He wasn't the
everywhere.
first time I saw them.
Okay.
Kevin, I'm going to throw
awesome.
a comment at you. It just occurred to me now. There's certain songs by Tenacious D that are very much, the underground tape trading days. And it kind of reminds me of the Bare Naked Ladies, because they started out very much in the underground tape trading days. And they had a bunch of classic tunes like I'm in Love with a McDonald's Girl that are only known to tape traders. They've never released anything official of that. And, I don't know why a lot of these bands don't really. Bare Naked Ladies, there might be issues with Stephen Page, but it would be nice to get official versions, official releases of a lot of these old tunes that date back to the pre-release days.
I think you will at some point when they get older and more nostalgic, but like
the box set version.
Like you're with your blog, right? Do you want people to come to your blog site and read your old blogs, or do you want them to read the latest thing that you read or you wrote, right? And you probably feel more proud and better about the stuff you just did than the stuff you did like 5 years ago or whatever. And it's probably the same thing with them. Like they're just like, yeah, that's old stuff. I want people to go see the Pick of Destiny. I want people to pick up, Post-Apocalypto or whatever, That's just you're into your new thing, right? You're not really. So when they get older, you reach the George Harrison stage of your life where it's like, I'm gonna go in the basement and remix my old albums, and so you gotta wait for them to get to that stage.
I hope you're right.
I hope
Anyway.
so too. But
Meat Man,
No, I
unless
will
you
say-
wanted to add.
I will say about special things that, yeah, it was on my list, and I just remembered too at the last long note that the three of them do, and the whole thing. It's 3-part harmony, and it's live, and it's perfect. I mean, it's literally note like just perfect, and I remember it had a huge impression on me the day that I watched them all that first time. It was like, whoa, like it just kept cementing as why they were great.
mm-hmm.
Like as I watched them all, it was just amazing. Okay, my number 2 is the last song from The Rise of the Phoenix, and it is one. It's a choice that his mother-in-law would love or hate. I'm not really sure what she thought of it, but 39 became a big song for me. My friend Shannon, she fell in love with that song, and she just would sing it and quote it and whatever. And it's really, really such a great song. It's so well done. And there it is. That's my number 2.
Fucking riddle diddly do.
I gotta say, when I first played Rise of the Phoenix, like the whole album, and I saw that song 39 on there, I wasn't sure if it was a cover of Queen's 39, right? And you know, that Queen song is like about I don't know, some old ship that's sunk
Time
back
travel.
in the day or something. I don't know what the heck he's talking about or whatever, but it's a nice song or whatever. And then that song comes on, and it's like, yeah, it's like you said, like a Neil Diamond impression.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, good times.
Awesome.
Good song. Yep.
Love it.
All right. Well, my number 2 is from a great scene in the Pick of Destiny movie. It's a fantasy sequence about how awesome they're going to be after they acquire the pick. And even though the pick is supposed to enhance your guitar playing, you know, we've seen the historical documents that Ben Stiller presented. Pictures of Eddie Van Halen, Angus Young wielding the pick. Apparently, the pick can also bestow upon Jack Black the power to sing without amplification, because he does not need a microphone. His voice is fucking powerful. And I don't know how much of that song, if any, is studio trickery to make him sustain some of those notes, but I don't care, because Master Exploder is a great song. It's the one that I suggested to Lana earlier this week that she listened to if she wanted to hear Jack Black just wail as a vocalist, as a metal vocalist. And I also love the scene in
there's some trickery there.
I think so. I think so.
Definitely echo.
Yeah, a lot of echo. But again, it might not be any trickery beyond the demonic powers of the pick itself. But
remember, they did play that on SNL, and they didn't play it. They quite obviously, Jack Black was pretending and lip synced it, but that made it funny because it was so all he didn't lip sync it well. Like he purposely was showing it. He wasn't trying it. You know.
The last thing I want to say about Master Exploder is I did recommend to Lana to listen to it, and I hope she didn't necessarily see the scene from the movie where Lee actually shits his pants to the song. The song is so good that Lee sitting there, I think it's supposed to be their first gig. They're fantasizing about their first big gig, and Lee literally shits his pants in the scene. He's so blown away. And I didn't know that.
I've seen that, and he wasn't great on that. But that's because you and me and other people, like you're only really listening for pitch and on there, and that's not really his forte. Like he has good pitch. He's great pitch live, amazing. But that's not like, you can pick out flaws if you want. I get it. Totally.
I've gotten to know Lana over the years, and I think I'm going to recommend that she start with Butt Baby. Get right in. Jump right in. If you want to get into Tenacious D, Lana, look up Butt Baby on YouTube. That's your start right there. You'll be hooked.
Personally, Lana, I would suggest my number 1 pick song, but we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of number 1 pick songs, Kevin, this is it. This is the number 1 round. And we got 10 minutes.
Oh,
Screw it
well,
up.
we could fly through mine because we talked about it at length already. My number one is Cosmic Shame.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I see. I
You
I
nailed
predicted that it would be
Yeah.
on yours.
You nailed it for sure.
No, Lana. You misheard
No,
him.
but-
He said "but," baby. B-U-T-T. I'm sorry. I apologize, Lana, but that's what he said.
I don't. I want you to have nightmares.
Yeah, you will. You will. Okay, so Cosmic Shame with an M.
Yes.
Great pick, Kevin. You fucking robot. I had to throw it in there. I
I'm
love
gonna be
that song
Googling some
so
of these
much.
tunes that
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
great.
familiar with.
I love that song so much. Set the artist free. I love it.
Yeah, but only so much, and then you got to cut it off at some point. It's so
Yep.
it's great advice, really.
Love it so much.
All right, Meat, it's up to you now. What's your number one?
Well, my number one is the first song I ever heard from Tenacious D. First song I ever watched from Tenacious D. And it literally still is my favorite song I've ever seen them do. When the song actually came out on an album, I really didn't like it that much. It's kind of to me. I still like it, but having sex with me and KG, now you're talking double team supreme. That literally was the first song I ever heard from them, and I've seen them play it live. And I specifically remember that it happened, and I laughed my balls off, and I insisted on watching it again immediately, and we did. Then we went on to watch all of them. So Double Team is just it's brilliant. It's self-deprecating and triumphant and amazing. It's the whole thing. It's just love it so much. And the album version was good. And they put in those funky stuff and everything. Yeah, okay, I liked it, but it just could not replace the original. Nothing will replace the original. I guess the main reason why it has to be number one is like from the very second I watched it, I became a huge fan, and it still is the greatest experience I've had with them because you just can't beat that feeling. There it is, number one.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, it's me now. My number one is the song that Jen and I sing the most in the car. And I'm quite frankly surprised it hasn't come up yet. And just for the record, Kickapoo, Car Crash City, and Storm the Gates did not make my list, which kills me as I fucking love Storm the Gates. But I went for my number one with Beelzebub.
Amazing.
It has that sort of that progressive rock quality where you've got different sections of the song telling different elements of the story. Dave Grohl's great. I've never heard anybody sing such a deep fuck in my life. And seriously, sometimes Jen and I will just be sitting there and spontaneously one of us will start singing, "The demon code prevents me from declining a rock-off challenge. What are your terms? What's the catch?"
I don't want to be that guy, but I just want to say quickly that the low note you're talking about is definitely augmented. Like, okay. I know what you mean because it's amazing. I love the song and I love that part, but I have realized that was augmented. That's why it was.
Does it ultimately matter? No,
not
at all.
No. I'm just being a dick.
And one reason why it doesn't matter at all is because Dave Grohl's playing a fictional character too.
Yeah.
Yes, I said it. The devil's a fictional character. I said it.
Exactly. And the rest of it is also, there's something in his voice there too.
But God, we know every line from that song. And I think one of the things we love the most is, I think it's the third section of the song where Jack Black is pumping up Cage. He said, "Come on, Cage, now it's time for a showdown. I hear you, Jables, now it's time for a showdown." And I love when they play off of each other. I love when they sing together.
Amazing.
Nobody will ever say that Kyle Gass is the lead vocalist of the band, but
amazing.
I love their interplay. It's great. And sadly, Kyle's role in the band is he's the one who's going to be the gargling the mayonnaise, apparently. But that's every like comedy duo has the Laurel and the Hardy. You got to have the one-upmanship there. And Beelzebub, it's a great song. It's epic. We've played it on repeat in the car, took turns singing different parts.
Love it.
You can't deny that kind of bond. So that's it. That's the list.
I mean, for Sausage Fest a few years ago, we did a Tenacious D medley. We did like maybe 5 or 6 songs or partlies of, and I remember that we did our version of Beelzebub, and that was just so much fun to do.
That would be cool.
It was fun. It was so much fun.
Well, thank you, boys, for joining tonight. We did it. We did it before 9, just like Meat wanted.
Yeah.
I have a question for the Meat Man. We talked earlier about our friend, your friend, Paul. Yeah. Do you think Down in the Streets would set off a copyright strike?
No, that's not on an album.
Damn, awesome. Then we're going to go for it. We're going to play Down in the Streets.
The song is on an album. The actual song is on an album. That performance is not on an album. I don't think you're going to have a problem.
We're at the end of the show anyway, so if Facebook cuts the stream, it does not matter, but that would be why.
I love this video. I have a request as well. Sarah has requested
ODP
that Meat Suck It, and we listen to Randy, not ODP. She said, I want to hear Randy.
Okay. I have that live version of Randy, I believe. Yep. Let me just see where it is.
Well,
there it is, Randy.
The remix of Randy. There's a remix of Randy that's happened, and I really, really.
I've only played, Kevin. You can find a sample of the remix on my site. I used it in a video. I'll send you the link.
It's not done. Don't be doing that.
I've already done it a month ago.
Well, I know.
I played a minute.
Promoting. Don't be encouraging it.
All right. So we're going to play Randy, but I also want to play this Paul McLeod track.
Play your song first and then play Randy.
Then we'll play Randy. Meat, would you like to introduce Down in the Streets by Paul McLeod?
This is Paul McLeod playing with a guitarist Tom Morwood and a few other people have known for many years that went to WCI with. A guy named Sean Kellerman, who has played with a lot of great blues legends and whatever. So it is the two of them. They wrote the song together. They played the song together on an album. This is them playing live with no anything. And there's even a part where there's 2 bums that walk out of a corner, and they're actually singing harmony in the song. And a guy named Derek Hines and another guy. But
for the record, they're not actually bums. They're just playing that role in the video.
That's good.
You'll understand when you see the video.
It's great. It's great. It's just all well done.
Now, where was this filmed?
Right downtown Kitchener, or that Gowdy's Lane area, like behind the Lyric.
If you know Kitchener, you never wanted to go down Gowdy's Lane that night.
I think it's there. It's either there or it's behind Water Street area. But yeah.
All right. So we are going to play that, and then by request of Sarah, hi Sarah, we are going to play the live version of Randy at the Boathouse.
Okay, so, do me a favor, play that McLeod thing first. I really want to see it.
McLeod first.
Hey, guys, this was a lot of fun. A great list. Like you and I matched with the couple, but
very little overlap overall.
I am not worthy. You've seen them before me. Your list was amazing. I thought I was a huge Tenacious D fan. You are huger, and it was fucking wonderful to do the list.
It was so much fun tonight.
It was awesome being on with you guys.
I loved it. I loved it.
Good times.
Okay, guys.
Best show ever.
Let's say that.
The greatest show in the world.
Take that, Chris Sarr.
Right.
All right. This is Paul McLeod, Kitchener fame. Awesome musician with Down in the Streets. Enjoy. Good night.
Down in the street they got baby. Down in the street they got smoke rooms for those who drown. Old painted ladies on bright corners with broken hearts. Baby, she's been gone, and I can't do but wrong to my baby. Don't cry for me as I tear out my own heart. This misery is mine, it's all I got. So let me be. They all know what I see. Down in the street they got something for everyone.
believe, and I just realized this now on stage, I might be the only song Max has ever written that doesn't have a guitar solo.
Welcome, Nighthawks. We've been expecting you. The hour's late, but the party is just getting started. I'm Alistair Kovacs, your host for a sophisticated little soiree with jazz, stimulating conversation, beautiful ladies, more jazz. Look, it's Charlie, sincerely one of the best white non-union jazz pianists in the entire city, top 5. Charlie, play some of those notes you know I like.